Welcome back, beautiful people. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Now, I'm very excited about my next two guests. I have the honor of chatting again with my good friend, Kweku Mandela. Now, Kweku is Nelson Mandela's grandson, and he's coming on with his dear friend, Ethan Zohn, who's an incredible soul. Now, Ethan is a former professional soccer player and winner of CBS's Survivor Africa. This win springboarded an exceptional chapter in Ethan's life, one of entrepreneurship, social purpose, and advocacy. He took his money from the win and invested in something much bigger than himself, co-founding Grassroots Soccer. Now, Grassroots Soccer is a first of its kind NGO that uses the sport of soccer to teach at-risk youth self-reliance and critical life skills such as HIV, AIDS awareness, and prevention. Since its inception, the international organization has scaled up to 52 countries worldwide, impacted and graduated more than 2.5 million lives, and worked with scores of public and private sector partners. He and Kweku are getting settled into the broadcast room, and they're going to be on in just a sec. Now, imagine your grandfather was an icon of democracy and social justice. Well, Nelson Mandela received more than 250 honors, including the Nobel Peace Prize. He's held in deep respect within South Africa, where he's often referred to by his Thembu clan name Madiba and described as the father of the nation. For those unfamiliar with his grandson, Kweku was born in South Africa and grew up in America. He attended APA International Film School in Sydney. His South African production company, Out of Africa Entertainment, is highly regarded and at the center of a ton of charitable and philanthropic efforts. Kweku is also the co-founder of Africa Rising Foundation. Now, the Mandelas have been inspiring figures and symbols of hope, grace, and change for the world, and Kweku Mandela has been pivotal in carrying on his granddad's legacy. Kweku has been part of the Global Citizens Festival since its inception back in 2012. They're dedicated to ending extreme poverty by the year 2030, a movement of engaged citizens working together to create change. They use their platform to encourage citizens, corporations, community leaders, and artists to learn about and act on global issues. Now, Kweku is always hard at work motivating the next generation to make a change. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. What an honor to have you both on.
Thank you for having us. And firstly, I want to congratulate you on remembering all of that and doing it in one take. So,
of course, Kweku, thanks for coming back on, and thanks for coming back with Ethan. Now, your granddad did a huge music series called 46664 for HIV and AIDS, and all throughout the 2000s, you saw the power of that. Live Aid, Live Earth, the Monterey Pop Festival at Woodstock. Your grandfather often said that music and sports have the power to unite people when politicians can't. Tell me how you're using your grandfather's legacy in combining film, music, and art to affect the positive changes that you are.
well, 46664 was, the brainchild of a number of people, and focused on how we could create, I think, a new stage of awareness where young people wanted to know what their status was when it came to HIV and AIDS. The next incarnation of that has been Global Citizen and its focus around extreme poverty. But I think we've seen that sports and often, music are universal kind of languages that cut across borders, cut across language barriers. They allow people to unite. They allow people to interact in ways they can't, in other kind of forms, whether that be education, or in the workplace. And so, I think for me and my personal passion has always been how can I utilize the power, I think, convening power of sports and music to try and tackle some of the world's social ills. And hence why, I'm very proud to be on the show with Ethan because he really does inspire me with the work he does at Grassroots Soccer. He didn't have to do it ultimately.
Exactly.
It was a choice, and it's impacting hundreds of thousands of young people around the world and on the African continent, which I'm so passionate about.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Ethan, so nice to have you on. I'm really excited to chat with you. Now, you went from a fit and active 35-year-old former professional soccer player, and you became the unlikely face of cancer, diagnosed not once, but twice with CD20 and Hodgkin's lymphoma. You're a cancer-free since 2012 now, and a strong voice for survivors and fighters of all ages. What inspired Grassroots Soccer, and what did Grassroots Soccer mean to you as you were fighting this aggressive cancer?
Well, I think it's important to mention, what both Kweku is doing and what we're doing with Grassroots Soccer. We're using something incredibly global like music and sports to bring people together, then deliver these health interventions or awareness campaigns. So I think it's taking something really cool and pairing with something not as cool, just to kind of raise the global awareness of these important issues facing adolescents and youth around the world. For me specifically, I lived and played professional soccer in Zimbabwe before my time on the TV show Survivor. And while I was there, I witnessed firsthand what was happening with HIV and AIDS and how it was just destroying this community that I was now a part of. I had friends get sick, kicked off the team, ostracized from the community, and lived the end of their life in a really lonely, sad way. And so we really just wanted to, how can we use the world's most popular sport and the leaders and the heroes that this sport creates to deliver these important life messages? And for me, when I was going through cancer, like, I don't know what it's like to have HIV. I hope I never have to know that, but I do know what it's like to walk into a doctor's office, sit down, and get a life-threatening diagnosis with little to no cure. And so at that moment, I really identified with the kids that we were serving in Africa and around the world. So I think having cancer and dealing with Grassroots Soccer has enabled me to do my work in a little bit better of a way.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Kweku, you're very driven and focused when it comes to philanthropy. You've always combined, like you said, film, music, and art and sports now to keep the family legacy alive. And you're a dad and you're setting your own examples now. What is the most important lesson we need to teach our youth?
That our time on earth is finite. And, as quickly as, we're here, we can leave this earth. And I think we all have, the opportunity to actually leave an impact, which helps, another human being. For me, I'm not going to act like I'm a saint, because I'm not. I'm very flawed as a human being. But I do believe that the small actions that we take, whether that be one-on-one with individuals, whether that be as a group, can have a very lasting impact on, someone's life. And that change can ultimately lead to us finding the next world leader, right? Who's going to reshape the world, right? Or the next artist or poet, right? Or, football player like Pele, right? Who changes an entire country's view on someone, and particularly their race. And I think, those are important things. And so for me, I want to play my part in that. And I'm always talking to, other people that I meet and trying to encourage them to at least think about it.
I love that about you. And you are always trying to get others, especially friends within your circle, to contribute to some form of philanthropy within the community. I know that that's how you got me involved with Orphan Myth. And I thank you for that, because it's so important to give back. Ethan, just this past November, Grassroots Soccer hosted a gala right here in New York City. It was a night of philanthropy and community. And you raised funds to ensure that adolescents in Africa aren't left isolated, left out, or left behind, raising over $1 million each year to directly support Grassroots Soccer's life-saving work with young people across the globe. Give me some insight of how funding gets to the youth. We have about a minute left.
Funding, we raise money here in the United States, but we distribute that money through all our programs outside the United States. And the way we're able to grow to scale, 60 countries, 13 million youth served, is we partner with other organizations doing incredible work on the ground in these countries, like a Kweku Mandela, and all the work that he's doing is something that we look forward to doing in the future as well.
Yes, absolutely. And it's extremely important to be able to continue this, because just like, for every level of success that we have as a soul, as a human being, you have to find a way to balance it and give back. The higher the rise, the greater the fall. So I always kind of like to keep it balanced out in life. And I think if you are successful, if you have the ability to affect change, if you have the ability to have a voice, to have your voice heard, then you, Kweku, people in our community that are powerful, such as yourselves, doing such amazing things to give back is what gives me hope for humanity, because not everybody does this. So kudos to you. I take my hat off.
Thank you. Yeah, and there's only two things in life we can be absolutely certain about. One, we're all going to have to die. But two, we all have to live until we die. So how do you want to live? What is your legacy going to be?
Exactly. Kweku, thank you so much for coming on. We've run out of time, but I thank you for bringing on Ethan. This was a great little segment.
Thank you for having us, and we appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys. Check him out, Ethan Zohn. You can go to his website, easyOHN.com, or check him out on the gram at Ethan Zohn. And he's everywhere. Grassroots Soccer is everywhere too. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WR, the voice of New York. Definitely check out Kweku because he's on the gram too, Kweku Mandela. We'll be right back after this.